that do not Google anything. Okay, so Dr. Google is really confusing. This one is called as lactose intolerance or milk intolerance, and another terminology is called as milk allergy. So first of all, I would like to say that these two things are different. Allergy is something which is considered to be like a particular person or a baby or a child is not reacting appropriately to a normal substance. There should not be any restriction on the maternal diet. The mother can take any amount of or any type of any variety of diet during pregnancy. COVID virus has done something with our immune system.
PhD, MPhil किसी भी विषय में डिप्लोमा के अनेक अवसर है RKDF यूनिवर्सिटी में एडमिशंस ओपन.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Ritam. We are at Sagangaram Hospital and we have with us a well-known pediatrician and an allergy specialist, Dr. Neeraj Gupta. We welcome you, sir, on board.
Thank you.
Sir, I would like to start with that first-time parents these days are really concerned about their children's well-being and they want to keep up with the vaccination schedules. So what is your stance on vaccinations and how would like you to advise them on vaccinations?
Very pertinent question in today's scenario. So I would like to say that vaccination must be given to each and every single child of the community at any cost. So vaccination must not be missed at any cost. It should be given.
Alright, sir. Sir, what are some vaccinations that should be given to a child, a newborn child, and how should parents keep up with the schedule of vaccinations?
Okay, so there are certain vaccines which are called as essential vaccines. So among the essential vaccines, these are those vaccines which actually prevent us from the deadly diseases. So the first vaccine which a newborn baby usually get is BCG, which usually prevents us against tuberculosis. Then oral polio drops are also given, and nowadays hepatitis B, the 0 dose is also given at the time of birth. And followed which around 6 weeks, 10 weeks and 14 weeks, this is the time of real vaccination in which different vaccines like diseases like diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, even polio injectable vaccine, and then pneumonia prevention vaccines and meningitis prevention vaccines like Hib and PCV, they all are given at this particular time. Another important disease which is diarrhea. Diarrhea is really considered to be, you can say, like the major culprit of lot many morbidities and mortalities across the country. So the prevention of which depends upon one vaccine, which is rotavirus, so which is also given at 6 to 14 weeks of age, and then thereafter usually the routine vaccines are given. The important one is MMR, which is usually given from 6 to 9 months of age, and then thereafter the booster doses come.
So since milk is the first thing that newborns consume, how will the parents come to know whether their newborn is lactose intolerant?
So once again, a very important and pertinent question. So the thing is that there are two terminologies. One is called as lactose intolerance or milk intolerance, and another terminology is called as milk allergy. So first of all, I would like to say that these two things are different. They are not same. So lactose intolerance or milk intolerance is related to that their gastrointestinal system is not tolerating that particular lactose or sugar for a particular time. The most common reason is because post-diarrheal episode, post-viral episode, whenever a newborn gets some loose stools, after that the gastrointestinal tract loses the capacity to absorb lactose for a certain time, and that causes lactose intolerance. When these children present to us, then at that time the symptoms are usually related or restricted to gastrointestinal tract only. They can present to us with vomiting, they can present to us with flatulence, they can present to us with profuse watery diarrhea. Then they can also have some red perineal rash or excoriation. Whereas a true milk allergy, this is really devastating. So a true milk allergy can have different systems involvement. The first system or the first symptom of milk allergy is eczema, which is the skin manifestation. Usually it starts within first 1 year of life. Sometimes even it can start within the initial 1 month of life also. And then as the child grows up, then the symptoms also change. The symptoms might come up like cough, cold, respiratory problems, wheezing.
Speaking of allergies, sir, what are some common allergies that newborn babies have, and how can they be prevented? What are some precautions that parents should keep and keep their baby healthy?
Allergy, first of all, we need to understand that what is allergy. Allergy is something which is considered to be like a particular person or a baby or a child is not reacting appropriately to a normal substance. For an example, I will give an example. For an example, if I am using this pen and to this pen I am not having any reaction, no problem at all. But if somebody else uses this pen, then at that particular time this particular person gets some rashes, itching over the fingers. Why it is happening? Because his or her body is not accepting this pen as a normal thing. That is why it's the body's abnormal immune reaction which is creating allergy. What I want to say, that allergy is because of abnormal behavior of immune system. It is not a immune deficiency. So there is no weakness in the immune system. The immune system is working very fine, but it is unable to recognize the normal things or unharmful things. So that's why they react. So usually the first allergen is considered to be food items. In the initial first year of life, usually milk, egg, and then nuts. Among the nuts, peanut. From allergy point of view, if we want that our child, unborn child, should not develop any allergy, then there should not be any restriction on the maternal diet. The mother can take any amount of or any type of any variety of diet during pregnancy. So there is no restriction at all. This is very important. Second, maternal immunization. Mother immunization during pregnancy, which is important. Supervised pregnancy. These things are important. Then during the time of delivery or during the time of labor, it is important. If possible, then the vaginal delivery should always be encouraged as compared to cesarean section, because that gives the child the benefit of healthy microbiota or healthy flora, which prevents them from developing allergies in the later life. Why allergies are developing nowadays? Allergies are more in the urban environment, not in the rural environment, because we are moving away from nature. When we are moving away from nature, we are moving towards more cleanliness, more hygiene, more soap and water cleaning, less contact with the, you can say, like the environment. We are not going outdoors to play. We are not letting the children to go outdoors to play. Children are not playing in the mud nowadays. So that is why their contact is not happening with the external environment, especially in the first 1 year of life, which is the time in which a particular child recognizes that, okay, this particular thing is mine or this particular thing is not mine. When the contact doesn't happen, child doesn't know, immune system doesn't know what is their own. Now this particular child goes to school at 3 years of age, and now he encounters the other environment, but the immune system doesn't know how to react, and that start reacting abnormally. So allergies happen. So going outdoors, socializing, playing outdoor games with the other children, this is more important. Cutting down the screen time. We usually say that less than 2 years, no screen time at all. No mobile, no TV, no laptop, no iPads, nothing like that. So these all things are very important. And then the last point is the diet. So a healthy diet, which is very important, rather than I will say that the refined diet. So refined diet should not be used. The box packed diet is not that encouraged. The cruder the diet, that is more better for the prevention of allergies.
Sir, can seasonal change also affect newborns in terms of allergies?
Seasonal change, what season actually does is, when the season changes, then at that time the allergen profile changes. So with the different season and the different reason of location, pollens change. So there are certain trees and certain grasses which pollinate in a certain month. Like grasses usually pollinate somewhere around April, whereas trees usually pollinate somewhere around July, August. So if somebody who is allergic to grass pollen, or then at that time the symptoms will be more during the time of March, April, May, whereas somebody who is more allergic to tree pollen, so probably weed pollen, then at that time the symptoms will be more there somewhere in July, August, September. If somebody is allergic to fungus, then fungus usually require humidity. Then at that time, whenever the rainy season is there, humidity is there, then at that time the symptoms will be more. Then if somebody is allergic to dust mite is a type of an insect which is the most common cause of allergy in India. So if somebody is allergic to dust mite, so these also require higher humidity. So the symptoms will be more in July, August, September. Symptoms will be more in indoor, in-house. Symptoms will be more in late night, early morning time. The parents usually come, the children usually sneeze early morning. Even adults also sneeze early morning. Later in the life, somewhere around 3 a.m., 4 a.m., they feel coughing, choking, breathing difficulty, or tightness in the chest. So this is most likely because of the dust mite. Another important thing which I would like to add here is, those patients, whether it is a child or an adult, who are having nasal allergies, nose problem, then at that time what happens? Because of some reason, some pollen or some reason, the nose usually remains blocked. When the nose remains blocked, then the child or an adult doesn't feel happy breathing through the nose. When they can't breathe through the nose, they invariably open their mouth, either during sleeping or during the daytime. When they open their mouth and start breathing through the mouth, then at that time, the throat now is, you can say, like directly exposed to the environment. And the environmental infections, virus, bacteria, they all get deposited here. So they usually get recurrent throat infections. So in this recurrent throat infection, they get fever, they get coughing, they get, you can say, like mucus production or pain in the throat, itching in the throat. So actually everything started from nose allergy, blocked nose, and because of which they have to bypass the nose. So that's why. So we need to, you can say, like address the basic problem there, which is the nasal allergy. If you address that, then thereafter rest of the other things falls.
So is there any treatment of allergies, like you mentioned earlier, dust mites may cause infection and allergies,
Yes.
and also nasal problems that children have?
Correct. In India, the most common allergens are dust mite, second is cockroach, and third is fungus. So, and then pollens also. So, now what is dust mite? A person, a child or an adult goes to bed somewhere 9 p.m., 10 p.m. and then he start inhaling the dust mite, you can say, like secretions or poop and all those allergenic material, and over next 3, 4, 5 hours, the dust mite chemical concentration is highest in the room. So that is why this particular person gets maximum coughing, breathing difficulty in the middle of the night, somewhere at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. In the morning, then that is the time where the dust mite allergen concentration is maximum at the peak, and the person starts sneezing, person start having runny nose, blocked nose, all those symptoms which are there in the early morning usually get worse in the this rainy season. How we can prevent it? Simple, we need to reduce dust mite. How we can reduce dust mite? So we usually ask them for certain preventive measures, like weekly washing of the bed sheets with the hot water followed by sun dry, then regular changing of the pillows and the mattresses. Curtains, carpets needs to be reduced to 0 minimum, no soft toys, no dust attracting material. Air purifier cannot reduce dust mite allergy, and dust mite allergy is the maximum allergy which is there in India. So if someone asks me that maximum cases of allergy, air purifier, no, that's not the answer. Then there are certain other measures. The best measure is sunlight, ventilation. If your house is having, you can say, like adequate sunlight, proper sunlight, 3 to 4 hours of sunlight per day, cross ventilation, the dust mite will be less, fungus will be less, cockroaches will be less, then at that time allergies will be less.
So since we've been through COVID, we're past that, but because of COVID, people have started taking care of their throat and keeping a tab on their infections and all. What are some common allergies? I would just like to ask you for a minute. What are some common allergies that people have nowadays developed past COVID, post-COVID?
Post-COVID, this is a very important question which you have brought. Post-COVID, COVID virus has done something with our immune system. So those people who were actually not manifesting the allergic symptoms, or their allergic symptoms are milder, requiring lesser medication, now all the allergic phenomena have flourished and they need to escalate their medication to get control. So COVID has definitely, you can say, like enhanced the allergic immunological reactions, and it will, I think, take at least few years or probably a decade or so to, you can say, like come back to the normal baseline, right? Suppose somebody is having nasal block and somebody is using Jalniti, yes, Jalniti is going to benefit them. But suppose somebody is not having nasal block and using Jalniti, it is not going to help anything. So same way, somebody is using, you can say, like honey or kadha. If somebody is having, you can say, like a particular problem and in which this particular mixture is helping, yes, definitely yes. But sometimes the problem is not that and the mixture is not helping. So that is why it has to be person to person. So these things are good, but not for everyone. It has to be selected and it has to be under supervision. First thing which is very important is that many people feel that allergy is because of some low immunity, that the child's immunity is low and that's why he usually gets this cough and cold each and every time again and again. So it's not like that. So immune system is working perfectly fine. Rather than that, even immune system is working more than the normal. But it is the understanding of the immune system which is at fault. Immune system is unable to get which is the thing to which it should react and which is the thing it should not react. So it start reacting even against those things which are harmful. So in a way, immune system is working unnecessarily high rather than low. So there is a myth that people feel that if they take immune boosters, if they give immune boosters to their children, that is going to help. That is definitely not going to help. Sometimes people feel that those flowers or those you can say like fragrant materials which are having, you can say like natural fragrance, they are creating allergy. So it's not that. So usually the dull lusterless flower, they are more allergenic as compared to the beautiful fragrant flowers. Then many times people come to us and say that, doctor, my child is having, I am having allergy to perfume, I am having allergy to dust, I am having allergy to smoke. So all these things are not allergic. These all things are irritants. So what is the difference? Allergic means like dust mite, cockroach, fungus, they start allergy, they create allergy. Whereas all these irritants, they do not start allergy. They just trigger the reaction, they just trigger the symptoms. But if the allergy becomes controlled, then these things are unable to trigger the symptoms.
Sir, I just have one more myth in my mind. Is keeping pets around a good idea around children?
If the baby is born in a family where the pet is already there, like when the baby was born, before that the dog was there, so it is beneficial, it is good. Okay. Reason behind, because there are certain organisms, certain microbiota which is there on the skin of the dog, on the hair of the dog, which helps creating a healthy microbiota on the child's skin also. So that is why it is helpful. It reduces the chances of allergy. But suppose if the child has not been exposed in the initial 1 year or 2 year or 3 year to any animal or any pet animal, then at that particular time, if you now buy a particular dog or a cat at 2 years or 3 years, that is going to be harmful. I like to request everyone that do not Google anything. Okay, so Dr. Google is really confusing. There are a lot many materials, there are a lot many things which are there. The content is totally unregulated. You can post anything, I can post anything, anybody can post anything, right? So there is no regulation to that content. Whatsoever, whosoever reads it, so they just get, you can say like more confused rather than, you can say like getting some information, useful information. So it's always better that once you decide to conceive, before that you choose your pediatrician, future pediatrician. Go to them, ask their opinion, right? And then no stress, reduce stress, healthy lifestyle, healthy diet, means like all the immunizations during pregnancy. I told you that no restriction to the diet, except there are certain medical reasons for the mother, that's a separate story. But otherwise, generally, no restrictions to the diet. Preferably vaginal delivery, but obviously that is not in your hand. That is a destiny. But still, whatever is in your hand, exclusive breastfeeding. 6 months. Try for that. Must try for that. Then, thereafter, allergenic food item early introduction. Outdoor play. Please come home early. Play with your child. Take your child outdoor to the garden. Don't open the television. Don't give him the mobile phone. Don't give him, you can say like all other things. Oh, I am tired. I cannot help it. You please take this one and then leave me. No, it's not like that. You please get out some time. Take your children outdoor. Ask them to mingle with other children. Let them play. Let them, you can say like run in the mud and all those things. All these things will be really helpful. And yes, immunization, vaccination. So vaccination must be kept, you can say like complete.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time and your valuable insights. I'm sure our audience by now are pretty sure about the allergies and the vaccinations that babies should be given, and our first time moms should keep in mind.